All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Marcia Sapino. I am the assistant manager here at CU Answers Audit Link. The session is going to take probably about 30 minutes. We're just going to go over some of the new changes to the online gold CTR. We won't be going over the FinCEN CTR. We're going to be going over the gold one. So for those of you who are not currently utilizing the CTRs, definitely feel free to reach out to me at any time if you're interested. We are doing the auto filing of the CTRs. So I want to make sure everybody can hear me. I think everybody can. Looks like my little microphone's going. Sounds like somebody can't hear me. Let me know if you can hear me or not. Just to let you know, as you join us today, all the phones have been placed on mute to eliminate any background noise and interruptions. To facilitate answering any questions that you may have during this broadcast, we do use the chat feature. So to get to that, you can find it by hovering over the bottom of the presentation screen. You should then see the toolbar with a series of icons. If you click on the one that says chat, then select the presenter and type your question, and then I'll be reading those at the end of the session. So let's go ahead and get started. So FinCEN released that they were going to be changing specifically the formatting of the way the batch filing occurs. We are all up to date on that, and we are going to start doing the required batch filing tomorrow. So this will all be implemented tomorrow. In addition to that, they did start some new, they added a few things to the current CTR. So in part one, they changed it from courier service to common carrier. In part two, they added the amount and type of the transaction. So they added a checkbox for shared branching. So now we have shared branching on the CTRs. They also added a whole new section, which is now part three, on the transaction location. So on our old CTRs, you were not able to add the multiple locations. We can now do that as well. And then they moved part three to part four, and now it is the filing institution contact information. So we're going to go ahead and take a peek at that in just a second. I did want to also indicate too, for those of you who are not auto filing with us right now and you are interested in auto filing, you can go to the section, if you're in the BSA monitoring tool, there, you can click on the little eye icon at the bottom of the screen and it'll take you to this page. What you're seeing here is the Bank Secrecy Act monitoring tool, this little icon right here. What it's going to do is it's going to take you to the help doc that we have here. On page 15 of the help doc, there's a little link on here. Let me see if I can zoom this a little bit. There's a link on here that you can click on, and it takes you to the sign up form. This is a $10 a month service for us to auto file the CTRs for you. So those of you that are using the CTRs just for the tellers to fill out the CTR, kind of help them out a little bit, save them some time. It's auto populating all of that information into the CTRs. And then the tellers at that point were usually just either saving it or they were printing it off and then giving it to the BSA officer to then go into the BSA e-filing system and filing the CTR that way. A couple years ago, we took it a step further. So after the teller fills that CTR out, the BSA officer then reviews that CTR, and then they can lock that CTR, and we would just send it off to FinCEN for you. So for anybody that's interested in signing up for e-filing, if you're not doing it now through the core, just go ahead and fill out this form, and fax it to me, the Audit Link team. and we'll go ahead and set up a little bit of extra training for you just to make sure that you understand all of the ins and outs of the filing process. And we'll go ahead and turn you on and we'll just start filing it for you. So let's actually get into the nitty-gritty of the core now. I'm going to go into the work with CTR forms. And this is our test credit union, so we can kind of take a peek at what the new form is going to look like. So I just wanted to show you guys what's different. So let's just go into Judy, and I'm going to click Edit. So this one, Part 1, has not changed. We did change it to the common carrier. I just lost it. Maybe it's not on this particular screen. I thought this was Part 1. I apologize. Well, let me come back to it because I'm pretty sure it's supposed it is here. So the biggest part that we did change, if we continue to this screen here, this is the newest change that we're going to see. This is the multiple locations. So for the tellers, whatever branch they are logged into at the time of the transaction, for the tellers, it's going to autofill for them the location. If there's multiple locations that the BSA officer needs to fill out after the fact, because you will see those aggregates like you are now on the BSA report. If we see multiple locations, then you're going to go ahead and add a location. So now we can add these multiple locations. So for the teller, this information here is going to be hard-coded. So it goes by whatever branch that teller is working from and the credit union ID. Excuse me. So this will be shaded out, and all of this information based off of what you have built into the core for all of your branches information as far as addresses and the credit union name will auto-populate all of that information here. If you have the credit union ID, your credit union ID, so in this case we would put GC in, and then we would put the branch number in. So this is if the BSA officer is doing this. So where you're creating the CTR when you're working your BSA. So you'll put your CUID in here. You put the ID of the financial the credit union that, or excuse me, of your branch, and it will auto-populate the information based off of which branch it was. If you don't know the information, you just want to make sure that you put an asterisk, I can never say that word right. Put the 2 asterisks in this, and then use 01. So what we would use that for is if it's for a shared branch and you don't know what the credit union ID is or the branch number. So you will automatically put in asterisk, asterisk, and then 01 for the branch, if it's a shared branch. Extend shared branching, if you do happen to know the credit union ID in here and the branch number, that we will actually populate that information in for you. But if you don't know it, that's fine too. Just go ahead and put the asterisk, asterisk, and the 01, and go ahead and just fill this in manually. You'll put the amount in of that particular location and the how much the transaction was for that specific location. Once you fill in that information, so let me just put one in here. Actually, we'll go back and just look at one. So this is what it would look like. So once you start filling in all of these, you can keep adding locations if there are multiple ones. So and then you'll see it here of how much the total is for each of the branches, plus where the transactions took place. So if I enter through this, so part 2, the amount, here's the shared branching. I was on the wrong screen, sorry. So the shared branching is on part 2 here. So this is where we did add the shared branching to this one. We also added the for part 3. So I want to just let y'all know that we are in the process of changing this title here, because this technically is not part 3 anymore. This is part 4. So this is the filing institution contact information. So this section here is not to be confused with what the actual part 3 is. We have a project sheet in and we're getting that fixed as soon as possible. But currently it's just the title bar that's not correct. So we are fixing that title bar now. So this section here is technically part 4. So this is the filing institution contact information. So this is going to be what we've always filled out as far as the main contact institution information. Part 3 is now the new multiple locations as far as where the transaction took place. So if that confuses anybody, please let me know. We are getting that fixed as soon as possible. So just a little side note, I did want to kind of mention as a BSA auditor, because I am out in the field a lot doing BSA audits, I have been seeing a lot of examiners writing credit unions up and making them amend their CTRs for not including the financial institution ID number. In your case, it's the RSSD. There is a registry out there that if you don't know what your RSSD number is, you can go out online and actually and get that. I would definitely recommend looking yours up and including it on your CTRs, because like I said, we did have a credit union that they made them amend all of their CTRs for not including that field. I know it's not a required one, but for some reason the examiners really wanted them to amend all their CTRs, and they did. So and that's pretty much it. For most of you that are on the call, you already understand these CTRs. So we just wanted to give you a peek at what they look like now. The biggest change being the transaction, where the transactions took place. So again, that was this screen here. So it's pretty simple. So as far as any questions, does anybody have any questions on the new form? You can't see the changes just now. We are going to be releasing this tomorrow. So you will see the changes on your side tomorrow. And just wanted to know again how you sign up. So when you're in the BSA tool, this is the fastest way to get to it. So let me back out of here and show you how to get there. So if you're working your daily BSA CTR activity, if you click on the little I right here, it takes you to this screen. The sign up form is located within the monitoring booklet on page 15. So if you scroll down to page 15 in the booklet, here is the link. And if you click on that, it's just a quick form that I need you to fill out and have your CEO sign, and then fax it over to me, and I'll set you up some training and we'll get that going for you. Let's see what other questions we have here. Oh, thanks, Jerry. So Jerry, for those of you that are not in the chat right now, if you want to know where the link is to get to the registry for the RSSD numbers, yeah, Jerry just offered it in the chat. So I'll also post it out on the Audit Link site so that you all can get out there and grab that too. As far as hard coding the RSSD number, that is not something that we are doing, but I actually do want to fill out have a project sheet written up for that so that that is hard coded as well. I thought it was, but it must not be. So yeah, I agree. I think that should be hard coded as well. When we add a new location, is that kept only on our own system? Yes, that is only on yours. So For those of you that are new to the CTRs and are just kind of taking a peek at how they work, like I said, I do go through a more thorough CTR process. This was more of a just to show you the new changes to our CTRs. But yeah, we definitely will go through a lot more of the detail as far as what the retention periods for you, the fact that your filing window does get dropped down by a day just because of the fact that we submit to FinCEN the CTRs the next day. So just kind of a refresher for the folks that are on the call, just kind of remember that your 15-day window is now 14 days because we do file these next day once you have locked those CTRs and you're telling us. Also, retention is still your responsibility. So I have heard one of our newer credit unions that they are using the instant. For those of you that don't know about instant yet, this is a good opportunity to show you. Let me find a report here that I know for sure. So whenever you have a report that is available on the system to print, you can select in your little spyglass here, there's a report called instant. So in this case, it's instant GC. So it's going to be instant and your 2-digit ID, your credit union 2-digit ID. And what that does is it actually takes the reports that you want to print, instead of printing them on paper, it's going to shoot it over to CU Spy and put it in the instant tab there. So what I've been finding from a credit union that tested it, instead of printing the CTRs on paper, they're actually sending the CTR to the instant, and it's archiving it there in CU Spy for them. I would love to hear more of you trying that out, and if it is working, please let me know, because I want to make sure that that is actually an option that I can train now, because I don't have the capability to print from here, so I didn't know that you could do that. So, but yeah, if anybody else wants to try that, and let me know. It's definitely a lot better than printing it. But currently, the way we've been training is that you print the CTRs, and you need to retain them just like you're doing now on the FinCEN, if you guys are still doing the e-filing on the FinCEN site. So yeah, definitely try it out and let me know if that works. And I will definitely be changing my training. So any other questions on the CTR? Like I said, you will be seeing this tomorrow. And please let us know if you're seeing any problems with anything. This has been in beta, and we've been testing and testing and testing and testing. So it's working now. So how can we have the Social Security number be under the joint owner? Oh, thanks, Jerry. So Jerry says it works to the instant as well. So that's awesome. It's good to hear. How can we have this? I'm not sure I understand the question, Corrine. How can we have the Social Security number be under the joint owner? Oh, I understand what you mean. Gotcha. So when a CTR is supposed to be for a joint member and not for the primary, so it's the joint member that comes in and does the withdrawal, and it's over 10,000, and you don't have proof that the primary member is also benefiting from that particular CTR. So in order, I understand, because what it does is it hard codes the Social Security number of the primary member. So in order to create a CTR specifically just for the joint member, the CTR that the system automatically creates with the primary SOC, you need to delete the form. So don't delete the transaction from BSA, but you'll go to, let's say, Judy here, you're gonna delete that form. And then when you go to add new CTR, put the Social Security number for the joint member and the tran date. You will have to manually input that information for that particular individual because it doesn't have the BSA record in order to carry over all of that information. So if you do ever come across a situation where it's the joint member that did the withdrawal and you don't have proof of the primaries that's going to benefit from it, that's a manual CTR. If it's a deposit to a joint account, you got to put both people on there anyway. So it doesn't matter which one is first. So it's a pretty rare occurrence, but it does happen. So when it does happen, you do need to delete that original CTR, create a new one with the joint members' information. Right, exactly, Corinne. Let's see, Barb, if I print the BSA activity to instant reports, will any report comments and report go to? I'm trying to understand your question, Barb. If I print the BSA activity to instant, are you talking about the one that I just used as an example? So again, another great example of something that we would really like to relay to you guys as far as a good way to have one specific report for your auditors when they come in. This particular tool, we did ramp this up a little bit this last, I think it was 2 releases ago, where we now can set it up so that these reports here, this is the BSA structuring report. Some folks will use this daily, which is not necessary because you are at there's already a report in CUS 5 for retention. What you can do is use this to print off all of the information from the BSA activity for the previous calendar month. And you can actually set it up to automatically run every month for you. So when your BSA auditor comes in and they say they want to see your cash logs for the last year, the only option you have at this point is to print off the daily report that's archived in CUS 5, which means you need to go to the backup disks that you're getting from CU Answers, and you need to pull every single one of those daily reports. If you were to use this, and you don't even have to do the auto scheduling if you don't want, if it's something that you want to be a little bit more hands-on, you can schedule yourself on the 1st of every month to print the previous calendar month and archive it to your instant if you want to. If you want to print it, if you're still kind of a paper credit union, you can print it. But what that does is it takes all of the BSA activity from the previous month and puts it on one report. So instead of giving your auditor daily reports, you can at least give them 12 monthly reports. And it just saves you a lot of heartache when it comes time to gathering that information for your audit. So yeah, you can send that to the instant and archive that report automatically within there. Any other questions? I know we kind of jumped into a couple other BSA CTR questions, but it's good. I like, it's a big group on today, so it was a good refresher for most people. All right, well, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. I will look through the list and make sure that I didn't miss any questions. If I did, I'll make sure that I get back to you on that. Again, I'll post the link that Jerry provided, and we'll put that out on the AuditLink Suite site. It's AuditLink Suite.com. And that would be it. I hope y'all had a great weekend. It was really gorgeous here in Michigan for you folks that are not here. So, but yeah, it was good here. So everybody enjoy your week. Have a good one.